for the next session? Yes. Okay, so the next session we have a panel discussion. So far we had sessions where one of the speakers would be addressing us, where one speaker speaking itself was very enriching and very knowledgeable. Now we have all the speakers here. All the three of us are going to speak to us now, and Dr. Ramadevi Shekhar will be coordinating the panel discussion. So we are hoping for a very interesting and enriching experience. So without wasting any more time, let's go into the panel discussion.
We request the audience to restrict to 5 questions. We'll take up the best 5 questions due to the paucity of time. So think it in your mind and then ask 5. Totally, whole of from you, 5 questions will be answered. Sir, first question I would like to ask Sanjay Manjul sir. So we all, from our childhood, in our textbook, we read that Aryans invaded. They have come from the Central Asia. They have come here. They are they are not indigenous people. So being an excavator and archaeologist, well-renowned archaeologist, so you have in your service so many sites you have excavated and you have put in the papers and in the records many of the facts. So what do you think that from the Rakhi Gadi to the Sanauli and from the Dholavira to Kalibangan, all these sites, what do you think that definitely the Harappans or so-called Aryans, they are immigrants or they have invaded us, that is by so many burial sites? Was it true?
Actually, it's now there is no theory in Indian scholars particularly. Every Indian scholar is almost agree that there is no invasion. Now again, the putting the theory of Aryan migration but the problem of understanding of Aryan migration in the late 15th century or even later on the Aryan invasion, our understanding of particularly in the Harappan civilization right from early development of early farming culture from 7000 or 6000 BCE from the various sites in Saraswati and their tributaries like Rakhi Gadi, Birrana, Kunal, and also there is a lot of date of Binjor and Kalibanga around 5000 BCE. That's the earliest one. And also we can see the gradual development of the site from the early stage to pre-urban phase and also the urban phase and also the decline phase. So it's a well documented in many places, and also the expansion of the site in long area right from the Surtgai to the Indian. So there is thousands of sites. So how a migrant from any of the place can invade or they can spread across the hundreds of kilometers and then thousands of sites. So there is no doubt about these are the actually created myth by the Western scholars. Another, the parameters they have taken to fix that the Aryan invasion done, that the chariot, the horse, because in Harappan civilization we are not getting any remains of the horse, although we have some remains of aqueous bone, but it's difficult to identify whether it's a true horse like Estepe and other area having the similar kind of horse were there or not, or indigenous variety of the pony horse, etc. We don't know at present, but we are getting some remains of horse from various places, like in Saraswati also, Kalibanga, we have some evidence of tooth, and Binjore we have some bones also, and Surkotra we have some skeletal remains, and also the Ganga Valley, Koldhiba also having some remains. Why very scanty remains we have of horse? Because the horse is very precious one. You think if you have the bigger settlement, so only one or two horse using elite class use the horse. So if you compare with the other cattle, etc., it's a 0.111%. So it's a very difficult to got the horse bone in the excavation. So that is another issue. But if we see the Sanoli excavation, we have the chariot and other weaponry, etc. So the whole theory, which is set on the certain parameters, that's vanished now. So, and also the finding of DNA like the Sanoli and also the Rakhigadi, that's also shows the indigenous development. So I think now the Aryan migration or Aryan invasion is not more valid. But yes, in the later phase, there is a lot of mutation happens because of the trade contact right from the early stage to Mesopotamia, Bahrain. We have the footprint there also. So we have the matrimonial alliance also in the many culture in different region. So you can trace some DNA, some part of a mutation in the DNA, surely. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I would like to ask Jeevan sir a question. So you have been all your experience doing various part of culture, especially from Rajasthan to Gujarat. So what is the similarity about this Ahar culture and already you have explained that Ahar and Harappan culture, Ahar culture and any other culture of any other state, you found any similarities?
Actually, what happens, almost 30 years ago, it was a notion that, when the Harappans withered away from the scene, then only rural cultures, grew in inner India. But, the researches carried out by Archaeological Survey and many universities across the country, they proved that, these rural Chalcolithic people actually contributed to the urbanization of the Harappans. Now how? As yesterday in my presentation I was showing, the entire Arauli is actually quite rich. It is a polymetallic zone where you not only have copper but also lead, but also zinc, but also gold. It is now chemically proved that all these metals were, apart from zinc, were supplied to the Harappans, or the Ahadians were also using, or the Ganeshwar people were also using. Now, had these Arauli not been there, had these rural Chalcolithic not been there, just imagine the Indus people did not have stone, especially in Haryana, Punjab, areas of northern Rajasthan, or even at Harappa, or even at Mohenjo-daro. Of course, Mohenjo-daro is much south. So now what is the similarity? How do we prove? What has happened, if you look at both these rural cultures in Rajasthan, so also contemporary rural cultures in Balochistan. We have, these Harappans are, these rural cultures are in touch with the Harappans. How? Actually, what we see, yesterday I was showing you a fortified enclosure belonging to the Ahar culture in southern Rajasthan. Just imagine these rural Chalcolithic people, it was believed that they were very poor, they were perhaps living in huts, did not have any idea about permanent pakka settlements made of stones or bricks. But these Ahadians were making fortified enclosures, and they also were doing planning. Somebody was asking, why these people did not learn the planning in, the way the settlements were raised by the Hadappans. Yes, the Ahadians were, doing planning. They had very large settlements, were doing fortification, were doing trade, and a variety of pottery type. For example, there is something we call tanware. Tan is that tan polish in the bazaar which comes exactly of that color, and it is very fine material. Then tanware, the Ahadians were using. Actually, this is quite similar to the fine redware which is found in northern Gujarat with the Hadappans. This is one. The other thing is buffware. Buff is milky color. So that buffware, buffware is very popular among the Hadappans across the landscape. Hadappans were using. The Ahadians were also using buffware, but perhaps not producing. This was because of connection, trade connection. The buffware was reaching to the Ahadians. Also, you must have seen in our slides, in almost all the Hadappan site, you have perforated pottery. That perforated pottery now has yielded evidence of dairy products from a site called Kotla Badli in Gujarat. So this perforated pottery was also being used by the Ahadians. This is on the southern side. But if you go to the northern side, you have, on the southern side also there is a pottery type called reserve slip. Reserve slip is a very, very special kind of technique in which, you apply one slip on the pottery first. Once it is dried out, you apply another slip. Before it dries out, you just, scoop out the slip. So what happens, the earlier color becomes visible. So this is called a reserve slip actually. This was being, this technology was perhaps innovated by the Ahadians and was being used almost 600 to 700 years older than the urban phase of the Hadappans. And in the urban phase, Hadappans were using this reserve slip. And it is also said that perhaps the idea of this reserve slip is coming down to northern Gujarat from the Ahadians. This was the contact. Also, the same story is happening in northern part of the Aravalli. What I was showing you, the Ganeshwar culture. You do find a variety of pottery types quite similar to the Hadappans. For example, dishon stands are there in both Ahad and Ganeshwar culture. Also reserve slip pottery that they are found. Apart from that, I was showing you metal objects. The Ahadians and the Ganeshwar people were using metal objects. Actually, they're quite identical to the metal objects. They are found in almost all the Hadappan site. Whichever Hadappan site he or somebody else has excavated, in Haryana, Punjab, Gujarat, Rajasthan, everywhere you have perhaps these, Ganeshwar type copper objects. Perhaps that was one of the major sources of copper. I was already telling you there were 3-4 major sources: Oman, Balochistan and Aravallis. So Aravalli becomes a very, very prominent candidate. So what is interesting is that there is a good clue about when the script issue was going on. There is one good question from here. There may be many dialects or languages. Script may be one. It's a very, very interesting question you raised. So the point is, how do we, when the Hadappans, these Ahadians or Ganeshwar people were there, they were interacting with the Hadappans. They were doing trade because, we find the site I was excavating in Gujarat, we have Ahar material at the site, Ahar kind of white painted black and red ware. So when they are interacting with the Hadappans, I'm sure they had some language. They may be speaking, no? So now, how do we identify, what Hadappans were speaking? Maybe the script is a different issue. But there may be different pockets where different kinds of language may have been in practice and they may be interacting. So now here, linguists can help us studying Rajasthani or studying Baluchi. So what will happen when we go back to the history of these languages and find the origin, what was the format 4,000 years ago? Maybe there may be some words, they may have been exchanged between Hadappans and these rural Chalcolithic people. So I'm sure once we find these survivals, we will be able to reach what Hadappans were speaking. Exactly the way in BMAC has been done. There is a cultural complex called Bactria Margiana Archaeological Complex, immediately to the north of the Hadappans. So the same story. Now the linguists have been able to identify what language they were speaking. So this way, I mean, whether it is archaeology or whether it is otherwise also, this Aravalli zone was basically hinterland of the Hadappans. I mean, whether you call it trade or any kind of resource material, this Aravalli was behaving as hinterland, for the Hadappans on either side. Which is very common in Rajasthan.
That's Marathi script. Marathi is Modi. The script is called Modi. Majority of, I'm told that manuscripts which are there in Bangalore Library, they are in Modi script.
Yes.
The Mughal, Shivaji Maharaj told
Maratha.
brought Sanskrit, but it is written in Modi script. So this script and language, there are a lot of confusion. Because script may be same, but language may be different.
Yeah, true.
One small important issue I forgot to add to that was yesterday you must have seen when Professor Sinde was showing slides, he was telling about ring stones polish also. So the point is that that was limestone. So there were huge limestone rings at Hadappa, at Dholavira and at other sites. So that limestone is found either in Kutch or in Jaisalmer. So reaching to Hadappa, one has to go through that route only. So therefore also the Aravallis were very, very important.
The same factory site we discover. Actually, I discovered during my student life at near the Dholavira itself, where all those pillar member of bended limestone they are used to make at that place. And then similar finding at Hadappa and other place also. So may travel those things from there to another place.
In your first question, you said that Indian archaeologists believe about the AIT, Aryan Invasion theory.
Not Indian archaeologists. What we read in our history, that the Aryans are they from Central Asia, and that is what you have. Sir has done many excavation. What he wants to.
You said that now mostly Indian archaeologists, they consider that AIT is not does not hold ground.
No,
So why
I
you are
did
saying
not.
Indian? Why not all archaeologists agree on the
No,
fact
I did not say that Indian archaeologists. I never used that word.
Can I add one point to that? Whatever he said, I'm just in support of whatever he said, or the question on Aryans was raised. Of course, now some archaeologists have started saying something on Aryans, otherwise archaeologists do not talk on that line. Yeah. They keep mum because they go to the hard evidence. Whatever hard evidence is saying, whatever science is saying, we just try to project it. This is one thing. The other thing is that, being a student of archaeology, I think it is logical to ask, when it was said first time, whether by Wheeler or somebody else, that Aryan invasion happened, Aryan destroyed this civilization, this great civilization. Yes, if they did that, that means Aryans may have been very powerful people. Where are their forts? We know Hadappans had forts, pre-Hadappans had, early Hadappans had forts, urban phase had. Even during the decline, they were using those forts like Dholavira. But where are the Aryan forts? This is one. Two, yesterday in the discussion, or I think otherwise also, it is very clear, the Aryan theory is not very old. It is just 200 years colonial issue. It's not old. So why are we wasting our time on that?
Yeah, true. Yeah, there is no.
So thank you, sir. One question to Diya ma'am. It is a very basic question. Most of the young minds here, they want to know what is ethno-archaeology and how do you know, sir has in his presentation, and now also he said that second question is like this. So when during the Ganeshwar culture or Ahar culture, he has shown that how they could have transported by the sheep back, the copper and other things. Being a metal expert, what is the dancing girl that metal? And now I was asking you about the Chola masterpieces, and what is the Swami Malai? You know that. So do you find the difference or the similarities? Both the questions you please answer.
So first let me answer about your question of Chola and Harappa. So Harappan specimens, we have very few lost wax specimens in Harappa. Like you can count on your fingers how much we have. I will say they are not as highly polished as Chola bronzes. They are very highly polished. But technologically, when we compare, it is the same technology because the lost wax is followed. But what we see is the regional variation. If you see the so-called dancing girl, her facial features or entire anatomical features, and if you that compare with the Chola bronzes, it's quite different, right? So of course, so that is one difference. Technologically, it's same, and every technology is individually developed. Like I can't say that the Harappans came and taught the South about it and then South got to know about it. It's not like that. They are of different chronological time frame. About ethnography, what I will say, as sir was mentioning that Aravalli is a very important source. Even for copper we see. Now, when we are talking about Harappan culture, we have to remember that copper, even today, for my experiment, I bought copper from Khetri mine. I transported it to Deccan College, Pune. And it's really difficult, even today, even we have postal facilities, because these are very heavy rocks. So that time when we do not have this advanced transport system in today's comparison, it would have been very difficult. And all the copper mines were outside the Harappan territory. So the most reasonable and logical is the processing. Like yesterday sir showed Singhana, site of Singhana, where you can see the heaps. So they were processing and then they were getting the ingot or semi-finished ones to the site, and then they were melting. We have lot of melting evidences. So probably this was one of the reason. Now how ethnography helps us here? When we do ethnography, suppose molds are mainly of clay, so their survival chances are very less. As sir was saying, in Binjore it has been found, but there are very few sites where we can see this survival because it's perishable element. Again, I showed about the recycling. So these kind of smaller things, they're like then the regional variations, what the craftsmen are choosing according to the availability in the region. This help us to understand that one technology can also be attempted in different manners. It doesn't have to be one single process for one particular technology. But when I'm talking about ethnography, I always say that there is a very blurred line between ethnography and ethnoarchaeology, because what we are seeing today, we cannot directly apply to the past. It may have been different. The question is always there, it may have been different. They may have some other methods that we don't know. So when we do ethnography, we always should be cautious of what we are trying to say about the past, and our evidences need to be solid. And another thing I want to mention is that about the copper ores. Now, when we are saying that we are taking ores, and I did also experiment in copper ancient smelting, but the quality of ores that we are getting today are much inferior than what were the Harappans using. Because even today, what we are leaving back for our future generation are the inferior quality. So we always need to keep in mind that the quality of ores also do have a factor in our ultimate product. So I think that's the brief answer.
Sir, the question to Sanjay sir again. So, we all know the Pashupati seal and other bull and other thing. So, this question is, could you tell us what was the religious practices? Apart from that, we all know that they had an altar, they did, they had a furnace, other things and all, the culinary thing and all. We know that. We would like to know that what is the religious practices please.
Sometimes it's very difficult to pinpoint the religious practices. Only we can correlate the little bit of finding, like the depiction over the seals, Harappan seals, and also the fire altars we come across in Rakigadi, Kalibanga, Binjore, etc. And the large scale finding of bull figurines, particularly in all the, along with all the sites of Saraswati Valley. And in this region, there is very less human figurine and mother goddesses. But if you go to the Indus region, there is a lot of mother goddesses or female figurine available. So possibly that the change of little bit of thought process or philosophical aspect on that, we don't know exactly, because there is no in situ offering or in situ evidence of that. But if you see the seals particularly, there is some rituals around the people tree and some goddesses, and then offering of the animal head that is there also, the three-headed so-called Pashupati seal. That also indicate some kind of belief system. But in my opinion, particularly about the Pashupati shield, that's more discussed in so many times by so many scholars, that whether it's a classical understanding of Tridev or three-headed Shiva, in yogic posture, and also the animal around in four directions, and also below the table or sitting area. So it's a really very interesting that whether it's a long tradition before the classical phase of Harappan, that tradition continue to the tribal or early amalgamation of hunter-gatherer with the agriculture people, that some tradition came from that, and that continue into the seal, because seal we continue a particularly ritualistic practice in long time, even the change of the society also, after change of the society also, like even in the sculpture of any of the deity, we are using the similar type of standardization in this era also. So that may be the continuity of early thought of Harappan people, right from the early Harappan or pre-Harappan. Some even in Kalibanga and other places also, we got the Shivlinga. Particularly in the Kalibanga, one terracotta shivling with the Yoni Peeth that is there in Kalibanga also. That also denote some kind of ritualistic belief in that time. So largely we don't have much evidence that yes, I already told the fire altars, the mother goddesses, the animal figurines, the strong belief of animal figurines also, because that is there in the seal also, and the terracotta also, and also the Shivlinga and Yoni, with the Yoni Peeth also we got in Kalibanga. So these are the indicators of understanding. And another understanding of last rituals, last rite of human burials, that you can see the clear understanding of the last rite of the human, that they are offering a variety of pots, maybe filled with some grains or some food things, along with the other, like the bangles, they are wearing bangles, etc. And sometimes the gold, tiny gold object, that also denote the continuity of our tradition and the practice, ritualistic practice in the last rite, human rites. So that's these are the indicators only, but we cannot say formally that this is the religion and all that. Thank you.
How do we say it's actually a fire altar? Is it as described?
Yeah. That's a very interesting question. Why I'm saying the fire altars, where at Binjore we got 250 fireplaces, where we have the variety of evidence of inside of the fireplaces also. Particularly one fire altar having the central octagonal yesti also inside, and they are putting a lot of different material inside, which is very sticky. That's not ashy, it's a very sticky one. That's a different of entire 250 fireplaces, that is entirely different. And also having the inside material is entirely different as the fireplaces or the chulha, etc. That is there, or even the kiln having the different kind of material. So that's one parameter is very important, and that is outside of, just close to the fortification. That's not in the main habitational site. And just nearby of that, the fortification, we got a very unique kind of evidence, which I have not mentioned anywhere else at this moment. So just I am sharing with you. One huge area, it's a human-like area having a large quantity of fish bone, charred fish bone. That's maybe the offering area. It's just like a human body, and within that there is large quantity of fish bones. And also we are getting a huge turtle without any cut. All the legs are also there, so that shows there is no not using the food, etc. So that is also for the offering. So these are the some of the new evidence coming up. We don't know actually how to correlate with the rituals or the practice at that time, but these are the indicators. Certainly some ritual practice are there. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
So I have a question. Yeah. Sir, I think the finding that you have made, at Sinoli, right? I think that's excellent finding, which is actually altering a lot of understanding and assumptions. So maybe in the last 100 years, this could be one of the greatest findings. And if we have a horse also, that will actually complete that cycle is what, right? So my question is, see, our Kali Yuga is 5,200 years old, right? So we have clearly calculated Panchanga, even today that we are using, which clearly says it is around 5,200 years, right? And we know before that Mahabharata happened, Krishna was there, etc. We know the geographical location, Hastinapur, Indraprastha, etc. Now the question is, so much of archaeology has happened in that area So is ASI is in any way thinking of establishing or finding correlation between what is the known memory and what has been written there versus what we are finding? Is there any correlation between that? Because I think there is a huge gap. When we start discussing about the Indus script and we are struggling to find out what has been written, versus during the same period we have a very clearly written Mahabharata text which talks about so many different things in very great detail, versus what we are finding in archaeology. So there is a big gap. So it is very easy for others to say your Mahabharata is mythology and Aryans came and wrote Vedas 2000 years later. So there is a huge gap that we are yet to address. Is ASI thinking in those lines? And in the future excavations, at least when we get into this, for example, the same the chariot, right? How can we link that to what the knowledge we already know or written knowledge? Is it possible to correlate or have a specific study focusing on this?
Thank you, first of all, for giving me the compliment for the excavation. The ASI, actually, the archaeologists believe on the physical remains which we are getting in the excavation, and also the scientific dates. The yuga, the date of like the calculation of yuga or the calculation of making stars and planetary system, etc. That based on the text particularly, because text is a lot of changes in a long era, like Mahabharata. Mahabharata is not original one. We have the evidence of even in the text 2nd century BC, etc. in Mahabharata also. So there is a lot of changes in the text, because that is in the oral tradition in the long time, and also penetrated into across the dense area or the smaller villages. So that changed the many things in the text. So the calculation, particularly as per astronomy, etc., and stars, it's a very difficult, because there is a lot of date stating 5000 BC and 3010 BC, and also Bhatnagar, Iyer, etc. They are giving the 1700 BC, and some of the scholars also giving 1300 BC or 900 BC also. So there is a lot of variation in the calculation in on that basis. So it's a very difficult to form in one date. So the archaeological evidence, particularly all those geographical region of Kuru and Panchala, and also that is the core region. But if you see the peripheral region also, like Gandhara, like Gandhari came from, and then Krishna, and also the Dwarika, and the Jarasandh came from the Magad and all. So we try to correlate the archaeological findings at all those places. And kind of the finding, or not only the date of the finding, but we try to understand the cultural evidence of the finding, because the Mahabharata, having the heroic culture, having lot of matrimonial alliance and then political alliance with many of the region. Okay, so that very, very interesting part to understand the archaeological finding in all those regions. Whether the single orientation, like Professor Lal sir related PGW with the Mahabharata, but that is in the we are finding that is in the core area itself. If you go to the another peripheral area that has the different kind of pottery or other evidences, but the PGW having the rural kind of culture in everywhere as per the archaeological finding. So what we it's important to correlate the cultural narrative in the Mahabharata, not the date of Mahabharata, but the culture in 2-3 generation in Mahabharata, and also the political reason of Mahabharata, and also the vis-a-vis archaeological finding, then we have to come to any conclusive evidence that this culture is belong to that particular time bracket. We cannot give the pinpoint time because there is no written evidence or inscription available, except some evidence that is very late, not contemporary, any inscription available. Secondly, the concept of yuga. Yuga may be the different concept. So sometime in the later phase that calculated the yuga, but yuga having, in my opinion, I am not a good in scholarship in that particular literature or panchang, but in my view, maybe the yuga, the Gandhi yuga, like the Modi yuga is depending on some sudden change of the culture, sudden change of the political scenario. It's also possible. I'm not 100% sure as the calculation may be, but it's my mind that is the Kali Yuga. The Mahabharata is the borderline of the Kali Yuga, because sudden change happened after the Mahabharata, the cultural change and political change, etc. That's a Kali Yuga. So it's also possible. We don't know the firm opinion on that. Thank you.
Can I comment on this slide? Can I comment on this slide? Sir, I think the question you have raised is a difficult one. And point is, he's an archaeologist. He's not an Indologist or he's not a person of literature. Neither me. She is the right person. Now the point is, if we two decide or we three decide, the answer is not going to happen. See, the point he raised, he told clearly, Professor Bibilal once did archaeology of Mahabharata, a huge big project he did. And there is a pottery type called painted graveware. So he tried to associate that with Mahabharata, and most of the archaeologists in the country criticized him badly. So he finally abandoned that project, if I'm right. Yeah. See what happens, now you just said the date for Mahabharata 5,200 years or 3,200 BC, right? So now PGW does not go beyond 1200 BC. So where is the correlation in this? So the point is, what am I trying to make you understand is that just before coming to this dais, we were in a room, I was telling what is the solution now. Couple of years ago, it was very difficult for across the country people to talk on this line because narration was very bad. Today we are thinking about IKS. Today we are thinking what should be done in India. You are expecting this from archaeologists, that will not, the answer is not going to happen. And how the answer will happen, people like Ramadevi can solve the problem. Because, I have to thank her from bottom of my heart. The Harappan conferences are happening in South India because of her. Not happening in Northern India. He's from ASI, I am from the university, but both of us are doing Harappans. We are not doing Harappan conferences, they are doing Harappan conferences. So she's from Sanskrit background. So what we need a roundtable discussion, solid roundtable discussion. We need people from astronomy, astrophysics, people from Sanskrit, people from archaeology, and people for chemistry, and people from geology also, and paleoclimate also, and sit down in a roundtable discussion, have pinpointed questions. You have to address this question, what is the solution? And the solution has to be, done viral. Let people criticize it. We address the criticism also. So what will happen? We will have a general, clear narration for the question. Once that is done, I'm sure we'll win the game. But otherwise, what will happen? He will have some opinion. He will say, I'm not expert on that part. Sometimes you will say, this is archaeology, I do not know. So I'll say, I'm doing hard archaeology. Sorry, I do not know. She'll say, I know Sanskrit says this. Rest I do not know. Go to the archaeologist. But that all has to be sorted out from one table. And the time has come. So people like her can initiate.
Yeah.
So we have to give her big clap for that. Or he can also, because he's on top in the ASI right now.
No, certainly.
Sir, just a minute, sir. Sir was talking about the Mahabharata is changed. So don't take it in other sense. What he wants to say is Mahabharata got 3 recensions. Right now, what we say as Mahabharata, before that it is called as Jaya. When Vyasa composed it, it is called as Jaya. And then the next recension, the stage 2 of Mahabharata is called as Bharata, wherein the war portion is included, then it is called as Bharata. And then the third portion, when all other legend stories have been added, it is called as Mahabharata. Right now what we see and read is 1 lakh verses, that is Mahabharata. So the original Vyasa to what we read now, and the later Devdutt Patnaik and so many authors, that is got many changes. So that is what sir wants to say, that. So don't think that Mahabharata is changing means, don't take it in other sense.
It's a journey of 8,000 verses to more than 1 lakh verses.
1 lakh.
Similarly, what I was going to say, there is a place, Sirgadi, a play where Saint poet Jnanasambandha has sung his first song from there. And that is about, they say, 5th century, 6th century AD. And there he gives 12 names for Sirgadi. And that means 12 Manvantaras. And their Swami's name is, deity is Toniyappan. Toniyappan means the one who came in a boat and rescued. So there is something to do with the creation, other things in the Sthalapurana of the temple. So how do we select archaeological sites? I think perhaps there is something in Sirgadi and around the places. That is why, do we have a archaeological survey in that area?
Actually, it's there is no fixed parameters to select the site. But yes, before selecting the site, we have to go in various aspects like the story, local story, the belief at that area, and if some are written evidence available, and also the location or even the nearby site, there is any such evidence already reported earlier. So actually, and also depend on the proposal received from any of the university or any of the scholar for the project. Battery chala gaya. So there is no 100% fixed criteria for that. Okay. Yeah. So there is no fixed criteria for that. So yes, sometime proposal came from the state and in university and other institution, and then if the proposal is so strong, we are taking that project also for the excavation or some other investigation like that. Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, sir and madam. My question is to the any of the archaeologists. It's just that being a second year MS student, I have studied. We had IVC in Northwest India. We had in contemporary to IVC, we had Chalcolithic in the central Malwa Jorve culture. And then in South Indian, specifically Tamil Nadu, we had Iron Age, contemporary. Like right now, the Iron Age dates went back to 2200 BC. So my question is, sir, when the IVC people migrated towards the Indian subcontinent, towards the central or southern India, they were urban civilization. They had urban ideas. They are very more civilized than the rural Chalcolithic or rural Iron Age. So they came and, transfer the ideas or what we say. How come there's so much different? Like we have urban settlements and then automatically, like contemporary, we have rural settlements in Iron Age and Chalcolithic.
A very good question, actually. I would say this is a very intelligent question. See what has happened again. I will go back to archaeology, being student of archaeology, and we have to stick to the hard evidence. Okay. What is happening, when we say urban phase, so yesterday I was saying, Sindhu sir also said, almost he also has shown the evidence. See, when we said state, not all of us agree that it was a state. The level of prosperity is visible in terms of pottery, in terms of structure, in terms of material culture. So we do not know whether it was being controlled from one major center. Of course, most of us believe that Mohenjo-daro was the main center, from where, because most of the best facilities are available at Mohenjo-daro. This is one thing. Now, what is happening, when we say pre-urban, all the elements are not visible, but when we say post-urban, most of the elements are disappearing. For example, they are not able to maintain fort walls, structures are poor, the quality of pottery is degrading, almost many types are disappearing. And what is happening, just imagine, if a large center is disintegrating, what will happen? Well-off people would go first. They'll carry all their material. So who would remain behind? People, those who can't afford to go. Okay. Now when they're moving, so what is happening after the decline of the urban stage? In Balochistan alone, there were 86 sites, only 6 are remaining. So is the case in Gujarat, Rajasthan, everywhere. Sites are, increasing in Punjab, basically. So that area, and in the fringe of Indo-Gangetic area, and sites are not increasing towards Maharashtra or down south. So that means people are not moving here. Of course, some people are coming surely, because there is a site called Daimabad where late Harappan material has been deciphered. So not much. People are coming, but those who are coming, what is happening on the other hand, in the urban phase you have huge population of cattle, buffaloes. Towards the post-urban phase, these animals are disappearing. Sheep goats is increasing, because sheep goat can travel long distance and there is no problem for grazing also. So this is happening not only with these people, but also with people like Jorwe and others, right? Jorwe culture. So this is clear indication of aridity. Now, surely whatever they had experienced in past 700 years in their urban phase, surely some knowledge must be there, and that must have spread rest of the country. But what came percolated down to different parts of the country, that we have to find out. This is a very, very serious matter of research. It is because the whole of peninsular India is overshadowed by the discovery of megalithic burials. The research is by and large has overshadowed everything. This is one. For example, if you see, we have discovered thousands and thousands of megalithic, complexes, but where are the settlements? There must be settlements. So why aren't we focusing them? This is one. We have not been looking forward what knowledge system is coming down. For example, Harappan cities came up much later than Mesopotamians and Egyptians. So the idea of city may be in the air somewhere. Of course, they did not follow that. But the idea must be there, because yesterday when I was showing my PPT, I showed way back 7000 BC, there was already long distance trade contacts. I mean, the lapis was coming down, from Makran coast material was coming down. So by the time urban phase arrived, already people had contacts with West Asia. So the idea of city life was already in the air. They did not follow those norms. They developed their own, the way metallurgy. So people in South India, they made high tin bronzes, surely used tin, no? Without tin it can't happen. Where is tin in South India? Tin was coming from Burma. So how was it coming? How they were bringing, how the process was happening, it was landing up here, and then it was being processed. Also zinc came from China, possibly from Java also. So how it was being transported. So the idea of technology also moved with such kind of trade. So what came to peninsular India and what went to rest of Ganga Valley or other parts of the country. So that one has to study. This is a huge project. These are projects actually. You are, eating something different in peninsular India.
Thank you, sir, for thought-provoking discussions. So moving on to the next one.
And last question. Sir, good afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, to every archaeologist. Okay, first of all, I have a question regarding chariots and toy carts. Basically, I read Mark Kenoyer article regarding the toy carts and toy wheels. What he mentioned in that article means Code Digiface and Raviface has nearly 7 fragmentary toy carts and wheels, and it's terracotta wheels, and it's nearly dated back to 3300 BCE. So generally, terracotta is made. If it is made, means we have a toy. I mean, we have a chariot that is generalized to the society. Like here, we are having a car. If it is belongs to one particular people, then it cannot become a toy. Then if it is generalized, means it become a toy to everyone. So if that Code Digiface and that time toy carts are 3300 BCE, and people are making many toy carts and wheels, but after nearly 1200, like Senoli only yielded us full chariot, but it nearly 1200 years gap. So why that gap? Our Harappan peoples are not able to make chariots, or like what I'm trying to say means, if chariot became first or after they made a terracotta toy, or is that they had an idea of making first terracotta and they not developed into process to make it as a chariot, and here we have 1200 years gap between Mohenjo-daro and other Harappan sites to Senoli, then only we are having a chariot. So what is the relation on why is the delay?
Okay. First of all, the toy cart is the replication of actual cart. Okay. Most probably bullock cart. There is a lot of variety in bullock cart also. I have already shown in my presentation. There is the frame of toy cart is little different variety also. That is actually replicated in the toy for playing of the children, etc. But you can imagine actually the cart, bullock cart for the transportation, and then common use for the people. So that is the reason a large scale toy cart is available in Harappan civilization. But apart from the chariot, whether Harappans are developed the chariot or not, we have one evidence of chariot, the smaller model of chariot that is there in the National Museum made of copper. But that may not be the true chariot of war chariot, but that's a primitive stage of chariot. One model is there. And another chariot is Daimabad, the copper made. That is not a bronze, in fact, that's a copper, but published as a bronze chariot in Daimabad. Now the physical evidence, as far as the physical evidence is concerned, there is no physical evidence available in Harappan civilization, because if you see the development stage of Harappan civilization, there is no evidence of such warfare, etc., and the large scale of weapons, all that in particular phase. So there is possibility of development of the chariot is little late. After 2000 BCE, not before that. Chariot also need the horse or mule, etc., because it's a smaller, it cannot be placed in the bull, an animal, because the size is very smaller, and also the D-shaped chassis is made for the standing of warrior or human being to ride on that. So the structure is little different from the cart and the chariot. Obviously, we don't have any evidence in true war chariot in Harappan period. But as later on 1900 or 1800 BCE, we have developed the chariot, a true chariot actually. But we have the evidence of some of the terracotta toy of spoke wheel also in relief, and the painting also in IVC. So that also I think indicative that the technology come up in the spoke and all that, knowing by the Harappans also. So that's another indicator, but it's a difficult to find the timber architecture or wooden material which is made for the chariot. So there is no physical evidence available, or it's difficult also to get evidence from anywhere in excavation, particularly because it's a perishable material. Thank you.
I just have one last question for Kharakwal sir. So sir, in yesterday's session you said that there were some stone pieces which they were stamped and printed and used as ID cards. So it's like basic question. So do you think like these ID cards would have made the idea to evolve money or currencies in the further civilization?
Very difficult question. First of all, I have to appreciate him because he is, I think, youngest friend with us. He is still in schooling, and we are all in higher education institutions. But you know, I got him to know through her yesterday. I honestly do not know if that happened, but you know, most of the Indus archaeologists, in fact, due to the idea of Professor Mark Kenoyer, think that, because he floated the idea first, that these seals may have been you know, owned by business families. This was one idea. And or they may be identity of certain you know, groups, elite groups, those who are controlling the trade, that kind of thing. So we do not know if they finally led the idea what you are saying, but that needs future research. And actually our problem is we are, you know, passing through a very bad transitional phase. What is happening in the country, by and large, Northern India, I am sure it is happening. Peninsular India, I am not really sure. Ever since JCB was introduced in this country, people are destroying sites, and we are losing our history of science and technology at alarming rate. I can tell you in Haryana there were more than 250 sites, but most of them have been flattened now. So the problem is, if we do not stop it, we are losing history of technology. We will never be answer your question, which is a crime we are doing with our culture. This is the time, high time that the people, those who are, this is a pathetic loss of innocence that we have to check, that we have to do something. Otherwise, friend, we will never be answer your question.
I can just seal actually not for the correct currency. In fact, there's an identity because we have the lot of sealing also in stamping on sealing for the packaging and marking that. So maybe any other material which has the standardization like the gold ring. Also we got in the many of the excavation, also from Rakigadi excavation we got the gold ring like that, and later on in Narmada Valley and other places also the similar kind of standardized gold, just very thin, having the ring and middle hole. That may be one of the because that has some standard of weight also, and gold is always very good for exchanging the standard thing. So but still we don't know the standardization of the money, etc., for buying and selling the object. So it's really a good area for the study of those things, particularly standardization, because day by day we are losing that evidence. Lot of private collectors having that kind of a large number, and I come across in one of the exhibition one or two the gold ring also having some kind of marker in that 3 lines, 2 lines, very close to the graffiti of Harappans. So it's an area to do the more study in that line.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question. Good afternoon to the panel. I think my question is to Dia ma'am. Yeah, like when it's come to Harappan bronze, we know that Dancing Girl was so famous and we are working on it. Apart from this Dancing Girl, is there any other antiquity with support for this Harappan bronze study?
Yeah, we have bull and some other objects like chariot, search road.
Like I'm asking about like a bronze antiquity.
Yeah, we have bull.
Okay.
So it's we see in some cases we see alloying, in certain cases we do not see alloying also. So you cannot distinguish in that way to understand. Of course, the difference that you will see in alloying and non-alloyed. But apart from that, the technology is more important rather than alloying or non-alloying. Okay, as sir says, in Oli we have found so many copper objects which are non-alloyed. So they were also perfecting the technology without using it alloy. Right. So that is what is important. We always think if it is alloyed, it is more ductile, it will have more strength. But it is not like that. So they are also using. So we have to balance out both. And we have very few when it comes to alloying material. Even from the site of Rakhigari, the samples that I have analyzed, I have found mostly it's unalloyed. Only Kuntasi I saw 1 or 2 objects which are alloyed, and Shikarpur also 2 were there. So we have to understand that it's not only alloying that gives you ductility. Without alloying also it can sustain. And they are all well preserved condition.
Ultimately, which culture is more identical, genetically, linguistically, materialistically to that Harappan culture. That is most important.
Sure.
So many claims are there, even Dravidians they are claiming.
Yes.
They are more identical.
Yes.
So more studies have to be done.
Surely.
Surely. Say that culture belongs to a particular, it's the root or branch of a particular culture.
Actually, we had no time to talk on the Harappan legacy here. If you look at the pan-Indian scene, our pigeon science is the Harappan actually legacy with us today. There are many things, if you start counting, there will be too many things that will come to the surface that, you can trace back them to the Harappans. And one of the shortest answer to your question was IKS. Through IKS, we can go back to the Harappans and then try to trace what knowledge came down from Harappa to this part of the country, or went to Kashmir, or went to Northeast, or went to Afghanistan and beyond. Because the Harappans were also trading to West Asia via Oman, reaching up to Mesopotamia. Also their material was reaching up to Egypt. So it is quite likely that some of the Harappan words may have traveled to Europe. There will be no surprise. The only thing that we have to start working on IKS. Yes. These are our surely be part of the future projects. Sir, thank you very much for enlightening us.
We follow forget the China also.
To that extent, we can say on basis of data,
Yes.
we can prove that this particular culture is more identical with the Harappan culture. That can be possible.
Yeah, we have to work on these lines actually. Yes.
We've got a really enthusiastic bunch of audience today, I must say. Am I audible? Yeah, we've got a really enthusiastic bunch of audience today, I must say. But it's not their fault. The topic is such a topic that no matter how many questions you ask, the questions never end. So I really thank all the audience for your active participation. And my very, very big thanks to all the guests here, Diya ma'am, Jeevan sir, Sanjay sir, and Rama ma'am. Thank you so much for patiently answering each and every question and patiently addressing all the queries. Thank you so much. Now, before we move on to the valedictory section, we have a small session to be hosted by Mr. Sandeep Kumar, Director, Center for South Indian Studies, who will be addressing us regarding the works of Center for South Indian Studies and the conference. Welcome, sir.
So, comfortable? Okay. So, I just want to introduce Center for South Indian Studies to you. Before coming to that point, I have a small question to you, a silly question. Who discovered America? Who discovered America? America or America? Who?
Amerigo, the name of the person was Amerigo.
My question is, who discovered? Amerigo. Who? Okay. Right. Eh? Yeah. Right. Okay. So she answered it. Okay. So it's a silly question, but I am coming to that point. And how many of you have heard a story of the capsular and monkeys? Capsular and monkeys. How many of? Can you just raise your hands? Okay. Did anyone can tell the story to the others? Okay. So for others, I'm just telling the story that there was a capsular and he regularly go to the nearby town from his house, crossing a forest and sell his cap and return back to his home. That was his regular practice. And while coming back, he will be very tired. He will sleep underneath of a tree, a big tree. So one day he falls asleep after his lunch and all. He slept there. He was very tired. He slept more than the usual. So the monkeys of that tree, they came down and they took up the caps and all. The monkeys went up to the tree, the branches. So when he woke up, he was perplexed. No cap was there. So what he did is that he realized that these monkeys are monkeys. I can manage them. So he had one cap with him. So he threw his cap to air. Okay, to them, to the monkeys, showing to them. So the monkeys took up their cap and thrown to this man. Okay, so he got all the caps. This is a story, silly story, right? Okay, so I'll come back to my introduction of CSIS and I'll tell you the importance of these stories. See, CSIS is an organization which is trying to work on narratives. Okay, narratives are nothing but stories. Okay, how something is introduced to you. Okay, it can a narration. Okay, a novel, it's a narration. Even history is a narration. Multiple things, even what you are getting through cinema, media, as a news, everything is a narration. You can more or less change the facts with some sugar coating or some kind of things, and you can make the appearance or the reality and present according to the view of the presenter. Okay. Those who are presenting that thing, maybe a drama artist or a news presenter or a historian, anyone, they can change the fact. Okay. In our local this thing, people will add water to the milk. Okay. And it will be very difficult to identify the level of water and the level of milk. Okay. Once it is added into the milk. Okay. So this problem is there with the narration. Okay. It will be very difficult to understand the fact and the lies or whatever it is added into it. So there is a problem with our history, our historical understanding in this context. So when colonizers came to us, the Portuguese, French, British, all these people came to India and they colonized us. They gave their stories to us. Okay. For example, just imagine an American, when Columbus went to Americas some 500 years back, okay, when he went there, the same time one American would have, if an American come to India, okay, an American Indian, if he came to India and he saw an elephant, okay, and if we need to communicate the Americans about an elephant, how we will communicate about an elephant to the Americans? Because Americans don't have an experience of elephant. No Americans 500 years before had experience of elephant. The last elephant in that continent was a mammoth that was died some 30,000 or 40,000 years back. Okay. The largest animal in the American continent 500 years back was a bison or a grizzly bear. Okay. Even today it is there. So how he will communicate that idea of an elephant to American people? He will connect this elephant, its structure, with a grizzly bear or a bison. Okay. So, and he will narrate, this is an elephant. So what picture the Americans are getting about an elephant? It will be a distorted picture. This is what happened with our history. Okay. And if an elephant read, you just imagine if an elephant read that American story about himself or her, that elephant, and the elephant believe that I am so and so, then it will be a distorted picture. After a skewed picture, and he will be the weirdest animal in the world. Okay. So this is what happened with us. Okay. So the Britishers or the Europeans came to us. They created a picture of us. They narrated our stories. They sent it back to Europe. Okay. Then many Europeans came here, or without coming to India, they wrote our history. They wrote our sociology. They wrote our multiple books. And they gave those books to us to read. Okay. And we created our own picture based on their distorted narratives. So this is the problem we are facing today. Okay, I'm just trying to put it in this way. Okay, so CSIS as an organization, Center for South Indian Studies, we are trying to understand about these colonial narratives, how the colonial narratives are created, and how those colonial narratives are influencing us. Even today, even after 75 years of independence, what we are calling our freedom fighters is that rebels. Okay, you read any standard history books. Okay, if you read about the here Velur Mutiny, or this rebels, that rebel, their rebellion, like lot of rebellion we can have. Okay, so what actually it is? what actually it is. Rebellion is a word which is used by someone who is regarding or consider him as a legitimate. Okay. And that word is used to address the illegitimate. Those who consider us legitimate use the word to communicate or to address someone who's considered us illegitimate. So in our case, Britishers were thinking that we are the legitimate, or Britishers were the legitimate, and these inhabitants or the indigenous people, they don't have any right. Okay, we are the legitimate rulers, so they called our freedom fighters as rebels and rebellion. Okay, and even after 75 years of independence, we are using the same words. Now, I'm just using one word. There are such thousands of words in our history, in our textbooks, in our daily usage. We are using for certain academic purposes. So, therefore, it's a high time to change, as he told. Now we are introduced IKs. So, we need to introduce certain refining process, and we need certain process to think about us and what we were, what was our history, and we need to understand from a fresh point of view. And we need to tell the next generation, or even for our understanding, we need to identify all these things. So that's why I asked you first that who discovered America. It's a beautiful narrative given to us. Okay, Columbus discovered America. Okay, 500 years back when Columbus went to America, he reached Americas, people were there. They had a culture. Aztecs were there, Incas were there, many other Mayans were there. They had pyramids, they had a culture, they had their own astronomy, they had their own mathematics, everything was there. And these people, when Columbus went there, he was fed with all full meal. Okay, after receiving that meal, he killed the native people. Okay, this is a history. A bloody history. They destroyed millions of people there, or lakhs of people there. And they implemented their rule there. Okay, and they say that they discovered America. The same thing they are doing with us. We need to do a decolonization process. And coming to my second, that story, that monkey cap story. The story has a second story, a new story. Okay. No, I'm coming back to my story, that cap seller and monkey story. So the second story is that, or the new story is that, this cap seller had a son, okay, and cap seller become very old. So one day the cap seller was no position to move or sell the cap. He was very weak. Okay, so his son told him that, father, no need to go and sell the cap. I'm able, I'm powerful, I can go and I can sell the cap. So hereafter, you can rest. Okay, I'll go and do your job. Then the next day, the son was ready to go out. Okay, he took up the cap and he was ready to move. Then cap seller called his son and told that, my dear son, you need to be aware of one fact, that when you go to the town and come back, you will be very tired. But don't worry, there is a big tree. Under that tree, you can have your food and you can rest there. But you need to be very careful about monkeys living there on the top of that tree. They may snatch your caps also. Okay, don't worry, I have a technique. Okay, so they imitate us, human beings. Okay, if we throw one cap, they will throw the caps to you. So you can collect. So keep one cap with you. Don't worry, go and do it. So the son of cap seller started selling caps. He will come regularly as usual. So it went for some time. Then one day, this boy, after selling a cap, came to the tree, had lunch and slept there. When he woke up, he saw this thing is empty. No caps are there and monkeys are playing with caps. He was not worried because the technique is there with him. So he thought, I can manage. Okay. So after leisurely working up and all, he took his cap and threw to the air. Suddenly what happened? Another monkey jumped and picked that cap and asked the question, what are you thinking? Only you have father. I too have a father. Okay. And my father also told me that the humans are very naughty people. They will do this. Okay. Right? Okay. You need to be careful. So this is history. There are two histories. Okay. The human father's history and the monkey father's history. So we need to learn from history. Okay. If we need to move forward, we should not forget our history. We were colonized. When the colonizers came to India, we were one of the largest economies in the world, or the first economy in the world. By 1700, up to 1700 CE, we were largest economy in the world. And when Britishers left us, we were the sixth largest economy in the world. Then 1 rupee was equal to $1. Okay. And some 10, 11 years back, we were 11th largest economy in the world. And today we are 5th largest economy in the world. Okay. And a lot of people are envy of our rise. And many people want to control us. Okay. How they want to control us? Colonizing through brain. They want to colonize us. They want to colonize us through using the intellect. Okay. They want to colonize our intellect. So we need to be very careful about what appearing in the newspaper, stories, textbooks. Everything need to be taught from this point of view. Are we reading the right thing? Is it scientific? Is it systematic? Are we getting systematic and proper knowledge? We need to think about these kind of things. So Center for South Indian Studies is trying to work on narratives and to understand the history of this part of our country from a fresh point of view or a new point of view to decolonize it. Okay. And we need your support in this process. This program was also a part of such an exercise. And hereafter we are trying to organize one historical discussion group. So every month we'll have a discussion. So I'm announcing that discussion forum also. Its name is Beyond Archives. Okay. So Beyond Archives we need to think. That is the name given to that forum. And the first discussion of this series will start on the 16th of March, Sunday, and 10 to 11. 10 to 11. The first speaker is Radha Narayanan, okay, an NCRT member. Okay, she will share her thoughts on these points with you. So I request all of you to join and part of this discussion group. And we can do a wonderful journey together to regain the lost glory of this country, okay, to make Bharat, our country, once again great, okay. With this positive note, I am finishing here, okay. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you very much, Sandeep sir. It was not only informative but also interesting. I personally felt very nostalgic to listen to that monkey story after a very long time. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we're going to begin with our valedictory session. So I request all our guests to please take your seats on the dais. Yeah, all the guests please. Jeevan sir, Diya ma'am, Sanjay sir. I request Dr. Sanjay Kumar Manjul, Additional Director General, Archaeological Survey of India, our chief guest of the day. Please make a round of applause and I ask you to welcome him. And we have with us Dr. Jeevan Karagwal, Professor, JRN Rajasthan Vidyapeeth, Udaipur. Dr. Ramadevi Shekhar, Director, Center for Art and Excellence. Dr. Diya Mukherjee, Postdoctoral Research Associate, National Institute of Advanced Sciences, Bangalore. Tirupi Sandeep Kumar, Director, Center for South Indian Studies. Dr. C. Chidambaranathan, Head of the Department of Sociology, DG Vaishnav College. We welcome you all, ma'am, sir. I now request Dr. Chidambaranathan, Head of Department of Sociology, DG Vaishnav College, to render the welcome address and welcome the gathering.
Good evening, one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the valedictory session of this 2 days national conference on Indus civilization. And first of all, I like to thank the management and the principal for accepting and giving permission to organize with CSIS for organizing this 2 days national conference from March 3 and 4. First of all, I'd like to welcome the chief guest of this valedictory session, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Manjul, Additional Director General, ASI. On the behalf of Department of Sociology and CSIS and the organizing committee, I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. And I also like to welcome Dr. Jeevan Karagwal, Professor and Head, Department of Archaeology, JRN, Rajasthan Vidyapeeth, Udaipur. On the behalf of Department of Sociology and CSIS and the organizing committee, I welcome. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Diya Mukherjee, Postdoctoral Research Associate, Heritage, Science and Society Program, School of Humanities, NIAS, Bangalore, on the Department of Sociology and CSIS and Organizing Committee. I wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am. And I also welcome Dr. Ramadevi. We have met in our principal office a couple of months ago. Initially, we started talking with myself, principal, and Ramadevi and Kumaresan sir. And from that day onwards, the conference have successfully completed because of these persons only. I wholeheartedly welcome my ma'am. And I also welcome Dr. Sandeep Kumar sir, Director, CSIS. Without the Director, we cannot have this conference. I welcome you, sir. And I also welcome all the dignitaries and professors and heads from various institutions, research scholars and students from various institutions, and my own students and my faculties. And I welcome the technical teams and each and everyone for this valedictory session of this national conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your warm welcome. Now it's time for us to felicitate all our guests. Firstly, I request Tirupi Sandeep Kumar, Director, Center for South Indian Studies, to felicitate our chief guest for the day, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Manjul, Additional Director General, Archaeological Survey of India. Along with him, I also request Dr. C. Chidambaranathan, Head of the Department of Sociology, DG Vaishnav College, to felicitate our chief guest. Now I request Sandeep sir and Chidambaranathan sir to felicitate Diya Mukherjee ma'am. Dr. Diya Mukherjee is a postdoctoral research associate from National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bangalore. Now I request Dr. C. Chidambaranathan to felicitate Thiru Sandeep Kumar, Director, Center for South Indian Studies. Now I request Chidambaranathan sir to felicitate Dr. Ramadevi Shekhar, Director of Center of Art and Excellence. I request Chidambaranathan sir to felicitate Thiru M. Kumaresan, Convener, Center for South Indian Studies, Tamil Nadu. Now I request Chidambaranathan sir to felicitate Mr. Dharani Gunasekaran from Center for South Indian Studies. Now, Chidambaranathan sir will be felicitating the students of the MC team. First, I ask Tushali ji from second year BA Sociology DG Vaishnav College to come up on the stage. Sandeep sir, we request you to felicitate the students. Now I call upon Smriti J.P. Nair, third year BA Sociology, DG Vaishnav College. Now I call upon Charu Kritika from Center for South Indian Studies. Now I request S. Sandhya from third year BA Sociology, DG Vaishnav College, to please come up on the stage. I request all the other guests on the stage also to please join Chidambaranathan sir to felicitate the students. Next we have Krishna Minu Manesh from third year BA Sociology, DG Vaishnav College, and Aruna Tamilini from third year BA Sociology, DG Vaishnav College. And Priyadarshan from second year BA Sociology, DG Vaishnav College. Now I request all the members from the organizing committee of Center for South Indian Studies to please come up on the stage Firstly, I call upon Vishnu Hariram from Center for South Indian Studies, Sundaramurthy from Center for South Indian Studies, Priyanka Babu Rajendra Prasad from Center for South Indian Studies, Bharat from Center for South Indian Studies. Thank you all. Thank you, guests. Now we have an interesting feedback session which will be hosted by Dr. Rama Devi Shekhar from Center for Art and Excellence. She'll be giving us a feedback from her point of view on this 2-day national conference on Indus Valley.
Thank you, one and all present here. So it's a wonderful, first of all, we'd like to thank the college, the principal, the moment we came up with the idea. Actually, it was the idea of Center for South Indian Studies. Many thanks to Sandeep ji and Kumaresan ji. Immediately, Sociology department accepted. They have agreed to host it in their venue. So the 2 days, right from the inaugural session up to this last panel discussion session, everything went on very smooth. So on my part, actually the participants should come and say this. So it was a very, very thought-provoking session. The 2 days went very well. We have not noticed the time and all. So from 9:30 or 10:30 today, we started with 9:30. Yesterday with 10:30, the inaugural started by the keynote address by the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu. So he actually broke the myth about the Aryan race. What is the word Aryan means? And the session continued with Dr. Vasant Shinde and then Jeevan Karakwal sir. And then we had a wonderful talk about the metal about Dr. Uday. And then today, the second day started very aptly with Sanjay sir about the chariot, Sanoli, and continued by Diya Mukherjee about the last wax method. And then up to the panel discussion, all the questions were very, very rightly answered by the famous archaeologists here. So first of all, I would like to thank the Sanjay sir, Jeevan sir and Diya ma'am for in amidst of their busy schedule. I know that being an archaeologist working for Government of India, it is a 24/7 job. So apart from their work, they have come here all the way from Udaipur, from Delhi, amidst of their busy schedule. And the wonderful audience participation also, not only their cooperation, but the wonderful set of students from Madras University, A.M. Jain College, ma'am is there, and the sociology department students, being the student from Chettinad school. So overall, the participation from the audience side, from the resource person side, everything went on very well. Thank you for the organizing very superbly. That's all from my side. If anybody wants to share any of their view, open to the audience.
We request the audience to kindly share your feedback. Anybody who would like to come here and share your feedback on the conference? Come on, you were so active when it was the question answer session.
Yes, yes, please.
Good evening, one and all present here. I am Dr. P. Jaychitra, ARCHEOLOGICAL Jain College in Meenambakkam, Chennai. 2 days is the national seminar is very interesting to my students participation to the for 5 students. I know that they missed that. Okay, the first day sections are also very interesting section to the Indus civilization. Second day is also is a question section is very interesting. Thank you very much for the opportunities. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon and good evening to all present here. So, I am representing Madras University Ancient History and Archaeology Department. So, we were basically the CIE, the Center of South Indian Studies, they sent invitation to our department. We were very eager to come here and to know more about the IVC sites. So technically, I'm the only North Indian studying in the university. Basically, I'm from Mumbai. So I'm very much like my interest in archaeology was raised by IVC from studying in schools and then visiting Dholavira and Lothal sites. So I think this 2-day session was very much informative for me, as we were our department students weren't able to attend the whole session, as in morning we had our exams. After the exams we joined here. So thank you so much to this Department of Sociology of D.J. Vaishnava College and Center of South Indian Studies to give us this opportunity to attend the conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your valuable feedback. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request our chief guest, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Manjul, Additional Director General, Archaeological Survey of India, to kindly address the gathering. Before that, we have one more from the audience who will be sharing his feedback.
I'm a PhD alumni of University of Madras. Actually, yesterday I went to MOP Vaishnava College. I thought the program was held there, and then I could not attend yesterday, but today I attended. Previously I attended many seminars organized in the Madras University, also in the Madras Museum also organized. I'm gradually getting some points to understand Harappan civilization. Previously, in the previous programs, they showed so many pictures and all. They actually compared the buildings which are in the Harappan soil, the substratum, the foundation buildings, and they compared with the buildings excavated in the Gujarat and those places. They are identical. The buildings, they are both like that. They make comparative study of building foundation, also structure of the city, with the building constructed in different places, also in Tamil Nadu also. Those kind of studies I found there is identity with that building, and another is artifacts. Today that person told about the technology in the copper artifacts. It is also there we have to find out the artifact and its
It's
uses,
3:47
and also
p.m.
how the bronze, the copper materials are developed. It was a very good study. She went to the depth. So she tried to find out how similar objects are produced using the same process in different parts of India. This kind of study is very important to find out which is the origin of the Harappan civilization. I have always one question. First, we have to see what is the formation of the Aryan culture, how it is formed. That is the one question. And then, how it developed. Is it by its own effort or getting so many material skills and other knowledge from other cultures, and then how they developed the culture? That is another point. And then after how it declined, that another question. Last question is how those humanity differ. I am finishing. Different places, different parts of India. So, like that, we have to have some basic questions and then find answers those questions, and then only we can understand European civilization, also other civilization. So it is an effort to understand not only the European civilization, also other civilization adjacent to the European area. My suggestion is we can have seminar, regional seminar, archaeological seminar, regional wise. These southwise and then north, west, northeast, north, just like that. The regional seminars, I am requesting the people here to organize such seminars that would bring out more information. But that is not happening. We have to do that.
I request our Chief Guest, Dr. Manjul, to kindly take over.
Dignitaries on dais, the colleagues and senior professor, and also in front of a lot of scholars and curious student from many places. It's a really privilege for me to be here in this August gathering and this conference. I already spoke a lot in the morning lecture and also the panel discussion. So I don't want to go in more detail in all those things, but it's a really a very, very interesting conference. Particularly, I have just listened today's deliberations only, but the questions raised by the students and others, that's a very interesting, and that shows a really curiosity and understanding of many of the problem for understanding either in Indus Valley civilization or the contemporary Chalcolithic cultures across the other regions, the parallel development, and then the earlier thought process of linear development of culture, etc. There is a lot of questions, but that questions always provoking us to go into more deeper understanding through the material culture, which are either available in by a lot of excavation, or we have to address these things in further excavation or further investigation or further exploration in many places which are going on or we are planning to. First, why this type of conference is needed? To raise the questions, in fact, to find out the problem, to find out the grey area of a study, and also share the knowledge which is already gathered by all those speakers and the researchers in his work. Sharing of knowledge and also the raising a lot of questions and identifying the grey area of a study that give for the further understanding or further area of research. So I am really very thrilled and also to see a lot of questions from the audience and from the students. So that will actually that is never expected by me to in this conference. There is a lot of questions arises. So it's a very, very good, I thoroughly enjoyed that for answering those questions, and also many understanding of the earlier thought process, and now what going on new in understanding of Indus Valley civilization or Indus Saraswati civilization. So there is lot to talk in this particular subject, because the subject is too vast, and also the journey of Indus Valley research is more than 100 years. So that has a pile of information, but yet we have to know the many other things, like the Indus society, the interaction with other Chalcolithic site, and then impact of each other of Chalcolithic site, and also the contemporary Indus Valley sites, and also within the Indus Valley discoveries of many of the, either in the smaller site like rural or semi-urban site or the urban site. So how they contributed each other for development of the knowledge system of Indus Valley people. And the settlement, particularly we know the Gujarat area, because we have a huge tangible evidence like stone architecture, etc. If you go to the Indus region, we have the brick structures, largely in brick structures. But if you come to the Saraswati and this region, having more sun-dried brick use along with the burnt brick structure. So the regional variations or regional knowledge according to the geographical region and available material, and also the environmental factor, that contributed a lot to the experience of Indus Valley people to develop his knowledge and techniques for the survival in particular ecological zone. So like the finding of Rakhigarhi, that shows how they have made a public architecture for the community purpose, and also the water management system at this area, because the people, particularly in the classical phase of Harappan, or we can say the mature Harappan phase, most of the river in Saraswati and their tributaries are getting dried up in the early phase of mature Harappan phase. So how they overcome in that situation, particularly the stress management. So they have done a lot of water management system and other technological development, and the irrigation system, and also the craft development, etc. So these things are very, very important for understanding of the future research to the future generation. So I'm really thrilled and thankful to the organizer. Particularly I thank to Rama ma'am for regular touch with us to no, you have to come in this seminar. So because in these days it's a very, very difficult to leave the office because of the parliament session in the office. The 2 days leave is really a difficult so I requested Rama ma'am to kindly give me the chance to come in 3rd, but she requested no, you come to the 4th also. So I'm here, and I'm really thankful, and my kind regards to all of you for inviting me in this conference. And I also, in the morning, I used to walk in all around. The whole campus of this college is beautiful and beautifully managed everywhere. Everywhere we're having the boards and well-managed campus. Thanks and congratulations to the college management and the director for this beautiful management and campus, and also the constant help by the students, and right from picking up from airport to the hostel, and also providing the food and everything without any asking of anything. I'm really thankful for the management. I wish all of you, all of the students to do the same pace and rigorous study and rigorous understanding of our culture, and change the whole narrative in our own way of understanding of our culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You have summarized the essence of the last 2-day experience of us in concise. Thank you very much. Lastly, I call upon Mr. Dharani Gunasekaran to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dharani Gunasekaran and part of CSIS, and I'm doing a research. I'm extremely proud and elated to be addressing you all this evening after the massive success of this groundbreaking event. I take this opportunity to thank each and everyone behind this victory. Starting with, I thank from the bottom of my heart Dr. Sanjay Kumar Manjul sir, Additional Director General, Archaeological Survey of India, who amid his busy schedule, he has humbly accepted our request and has not just joined us here, but also have taken us on an enlightening journey to the history of the Sanoli chariot and made us realize the importance of its history of Bharat, which was absolutely groundbreaker. Thank you very much, sir. And I would also like to convey my deepest gratitude. Yes. I would also like to convey my deepest gratitude to all other respected delegates who has made this conference possible with their priceless time and knowledge. So first I want to thank Dr. Uday Kumar sir from NIAS, who spoke wonderfully about the metal knowledge of the Harappans and their bronze tradition. And thank you so much, sir. And then Dr. Diya Mukherjee ma'am, she also from NIAS, who gave us a lot of new insights on the bronze usage and tradition in the Harappan civilization. Thank you, ma'am. And the hero of the show, Dr. Jeevan Karakpal sir, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. In a single sentence, you destroyed Aryan invasion theory, sir. Thank you so much for that. So he's a professor from Rajasthan Vidyadeep University and Udaipur, who showed us the highlights and excavation at Kalibangan and other places in Gujarat, which was again a fascinating session. Thank you so much, sir. And I must also thank Dr. Yagnadevam, cryptographer and computer programmer, who joined us virtually from the United States and shared his intellects about his attempt in deciphering the Indus script using cryptogram. And I would like to thank Dr. Vasant Singh sir, former Vice Chancellor at Deccan College, who conducted 2 eye-opening sessions on the amusing characteristics and properties of the Harappan town planning and urbanization with a reference to Rocky Gully. And I also extended my gratitude to Rama Devi ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. From the beginning you were supporting me, and thank you so much. At this moment, I would like to extend my gratitude to Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Sri R.N. Ravi, and all other staff members from the Raj Bhavan, the principal, treasurer, management, staff, and students of DG Vaishnav College for making 2 days national conference possible. Thank you so much, guys. Yes. And finally, I want to convey my thanks to our director Sandhu Kumar sir and Kumaresan ji. They are right here. So thank you so much, ji, for giving me this opportunity to do this. And I would like to conclude by quoting a history quote, so which goes, study the past if you want to define the future. So history is more important, because if you know our past, we can shape our future. Without history, nothing is there. Okay? So once again, I thank all of your presence and support, and thank you so much.
Before we conclude the program, we have a small certificate distribution session. So I'll call out the name of the institutes. I request one representative from each institute to come and collect the certificates. can I have one representative from Meenakshi College? Meenakshi College.
It's 4:03 p.m.
Next, I request Pachiapas College representative to get ready. Next, I request a representative from AM Jain College, Meenambakam, to please come on the stage. Next, I call upon a representative from Vikas Academy. Vikas Academy. Next, we have the International Institute of Tamil Studies. Is someone from International Institute of Tamil Studies here? Next, I call upon a representative from Chettinad School. Next, I request JPR Engineering College students to be ready. Next, I call upon a representative from Center for South Indian Studies. Next, I request the representative from DG Vaishnav College to kindly come up on the stage. First year BA Sociology, DG Vaishnav College. Second year BA Sociology, DG Vaishnav College. Third year BA Sociology, DG Vaishnav College. Next, I request a representative from NIAS Bangalore to kindly come up on the stage. Ramakrishna Mission. Anybody from Ramakrishna Mission is here? Next, I request the students of Pondicherry University to get ready. Pondicherry University, please make it fast, audience. We're running short of time. Queen Mary's College. Students from Queen Mary's College, are you here? Next, we have IT Milan. Is anybody from IT Milan here? Next, we have Central University of Kerala. IT Milan. Next, I request a representative from the University of Madras to come up on the stage. Lastly, I call upon a representative to represent the research scholars from DG Vaishnav College. Research scholars from Economy Department of DG Vaishnav College. Thank you all.
நான் கொஞ்சம் மறந்துட்டேன் ஒன்றும் இல்லை. ஸோ ஐ வாண்ட் டு தேங்க் சிதம்பரநாதன் சார் பிகாஸ் லைக் when we approached him he said like this is our responsibility to do it அப்படின்னு சொன்னார். ஏன் சார் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டின்னு கேட்கும்போது எங்கள் ஜென்ரேஷனுக்கு வந்து நிறைய சோஷியல் மீடியாவாக இருக்கட்டும் இல்லை நிறைய விஷயத்தில் they are going down. So we should teach them our history அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு he took step forward and now we are doing because of him also, and thank you so much sir, and yeah, for the guidance sir.
Thank you all. As we have reached the end of the program, I request the gathering to kindly rise up for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय